My name is Brody Miller with Neuroprosperity, and this channel is for anyone who struggles with addictions, bad habits, brain trauma, and more. Today I'm going to talk about my story, so go ahead and hit that damn subscribe button because already know that you're going to get some excellent knowledge of how to improve your brain health. So, my story is a bit uncommon. Around 4 years ago, I had a cavernosus malformation removed in my left frontal lobe that was about the size of a cranberry. A malformation, which is essentially a benign brain tumor, was leaking blood into the rest of my brain. That was causing me to have erratic thoughts, erratic behaviors, and to do all kinds of things that were outside of what I deemed to be in my character. So after they removed that malformation 4 years ago, I continued to have grand mal seizures, which was very devastating to me and my family. So I eventually got into meditation, and I'll tell you more about how much meditation has helped me in my life after this. But before that, let's go back 6, 7 years ago. I was deeply into addiction, alcoholism, and doing all kinds of things such as selling drugs. I would get into fights and altercations. I suffered brain trauma from those instances, and trauma from situations with the law. I got arrested over 10 times, and my family and even I had no idea why I was taking these actions. I just assumed that it was because I simply thought I was a failure in life. I identified as a failure and a nobody, and I was going to do nothing for the rest of my life, and either I was going to die or go to jail. And that was just a simple fact for me at that time, because my cognitive abilities were so limited and I had no clue. It was very troubling and trying time in my life. And so what ensued is that I went to my first recovery center. And at that recovery center, I met a lot of people, but at that time I was not sold on recovery. I just simply did not have it in my heart 100%, but I was willing to at least give it a try. And at that recovery center, I met a lot of good friends who unfortunately are no longer here with us. And I ended up getting kicked out of that recovery center for buying another individual alcohol, which was a mistake on my part. And then I went back to drinking. And then the second time I went to rehab, it was due to legal situations. It had gotten that bad. And in that recovery center, I was more committed to recovery, but there was just something in my brain and body that just didn't feel right. And at that recovery center, I had a grand mal seizure. And I woke up in the hospital, and my family members were calling me and telling me what happened. I just blanked out. And I woke up and they said, "Brody, you're going to have brain surgery in this amount of time." And so I did. I ended up having brain surgery. And after I got out of the recovery center, I ended up going back to drinking, believe it or not, just because I simply was that addicted to the dopamine high that I was getting from the drugs and the alcohol. So I continued to use but not substantially, but at a limited capacity. But one day I came across a video of an individual, Tom Bilyeu, Joe Dispenza, that something just in me just clicked, and I wanted to. There's just something inside of me that made me extremely passionate about change and how I could change myself. And I eventually started studying neuroscience. I meditated day after day and started gradually changing myself. In time, I became much more coherent. The words that I was speaking were much more direct and on point. I started to gain my family's trust back again, which is something that I always wanted. And I started to understand how the brain works and its mechanisms. And it truly gave me a third eye. I could see myself from a bird's eye view finally, from all the meditation and hard work that I put in. And when I got in front of the mirror, I finally could look at myself and love myself truly. And that was something that just changed the game for me, changed the game for me and my confidence. And I truly want to spread this message to as many people as possible, because I know that it can help an exponential amount of individuals that are suffering from mental health, brain trauma, addiction, you name it. Schizophrenia. There's just so much out there in our system that needs to change. Right now I'm studying integrative health at Quantum University, and it's given me insights to the brain and body that I know that I can help individuals break bad habits, create new empowering ones, and change their lives for the better. In my personal opinion, the recovery centers, addiction centers, they are not using the best. Some of them have really good intentions, but they don't individualize the clients, is what they need to do. And I'm going to bring to you all the knowledge that helped me from personal experience that you can apply and help you to get better, so you don't have to go through that long, outdrawn process. And this applies to anyone who wants to improve their cognitive abilities and overall potential, because that's what it's all about, is being the best version of ourselves at the end of the day. And I thank you all so much for listening to my video. It was a pleasure to tell you my story, and can't wait to get into the technical details of how we can improve your brain health, my brain health, and society's brain health.